Hey, Petey Grizz here. Today I'm going to talk about a Swedish Army knife. Okay, I promise you I won't do the accent again. And not necessarily a Swedish Army knife. It is a Swedish knife that has a similar design to a Swiss Army knife. It's basically just a camp, scout, utility knife type thing, which a lot of them get labeled as clones, but they're not all necessarily clones. I mean, it's one thing when there are many brands that specifically targeted copying Swiss Army knives to get in on that sweet market share, but there are other knives that just happen to be close in shape. I'm not sure which category this falls into. But anyway, EKA is Eskilstuna knife, something beginning with an A. But they are a knife maker out of Eskilstuna, Sweden. And they started making knives in 1882, but the area has a history of forge making going back to 1485. But anyway, there's a reason why I have this out already, and I'll get to that in a minute. The scales here are quite beautiful. They do have a slight yellow tint to them, as is typical of the Pearloid scales. This is some of the finest synthetic pearl or Pearloid that I've come across. It is very hard. Usually Pearloid is pretty soft, as soft as any other plastic. A lot of times it tends to shrink and crack and all that, but this is held up very well. And it has, a lot of Pearloid doesn't have that much luster to it like this does. I mean, this is what real mother of pearl looks like. And truth be told, they're not even close. Once you see the real thing, the synthetic stuff is quite apparent. But as far as synthetic mother of toilet seat, as this is often in the guitar world, Pearloid is often called mother of toilet seat. Back in the 60s and 70s, a lot of toilet seats were made out of this material, and hence the term mother of toilet seat as a not so nice name for it, which I think is hilarious. But anyway, we'll start with the tool I already got out. And the reason I have it out already, the bottle opener and screwdriver, is because the nail nick in the manufacturer was made way too close to the top edge, and it just broke right through. And this is very difficult to open with your fingers. This is the knife that in my last few videos I was talking about my thumb being beat up. This was the one. This thing basically, it chewed the fingernail right off of my thumb to where I had to clip it down to start over again. But so that's why I have it out already, because once I put this away, I will not be getting it back out in this video. I assure you of that. I can barely get it off camera, barely get it open off camera, let alone on camera. So anyway, we'll close that out. These look to be carbon steel blades. They still have some luster to them, but they look like carbon steel to me, although I'm no expert, so take that for what you will. This is the can opener. Interesting style of can opener. This mechanically functions the same as the Eichenberger or Z can opener on the Wenger Swiss Army knives from the 60s, in that you pierce through, and then this little round part here rides on the lip of the can, and then you work the sharp edge up and around the edge of the can. And a little bonus they did is this little round spot and this round spot here are sharpened in here, which would work as cable strippers, which is pretty cool because you get two different sizes of it. Not that you really need it, but I'm not convinced that was the goal, but it does work that way. Then next we have the pen blade. Yep, it's a pen blade. And then the main blade. This sucker has some pull on it. All the tools have great snap, and you get the little the stamp falls pretty far into the tang and has some corrosion on it, but it does say EKA Eskilstuna, Sweden. And I don't know why I said it like that, Sweden, but EKA, from what I understand, basically means the Eskilstuna Knife Association. So I'm not sure, you know, it appears to be a single company. I don't know if there's like a Cutler's Association like in Switzerland, like for the early Swiss Army knives, or not. You know, part of the problem is their website is a train wreck. You know, they still make knives to this day. I tried their website. Their website has a built-in translation feature, and then, you know, when you visit it through Google Chrome or Firefox, it also tries to translate it, and it's like the two translation features are fighting each other, and I just can't get it to stay in English long enough for me to be able to read it. The interesting about this blade is heavily angled. Now, all the Victorinox blades are done the same way too, to make them tuck in there. They look straight, but they're actually on a slight angle towards the back edge. But this one, they went heavily with that. And it does have this swedge up here at the top, but only on one side, which I think is interesting. But it does close and fit in there nice and tight. But there you can see how the blade is flat on one side, and then the show side is actually ground at an angle to make it fit in there nice and tight. And that's the same thing they do on Vicks, but they do it at a much more subtler angle so that it's not nearly as noticeable. And on the back, we've got a corkscrew. You know, nothing special about that. The wire stock is a little thinner than on Victorinox, but it still seems like a plenty sturdy corkscrew. I'm sure you could pop some bottles with that, no problem. And then the ever popular European style quarter round awl, which has a relatively sharp point, plenty sharp for the job of poking holes in leather, which is what this was made for. You can see there's beautiful brass liner in there, which is very cool. There's no coining or anything on the edge, but very nice knife. Very excellent. The fit and finish is very good. Now these springs are sunk down in there, as they are on Victorinox too, but yeah, that's just by design. That's not a, you know, fit and finish issue. That is just a design, you know, choice there. But the brass rivets are very smoothly worked into that. You can barely feel them. You can barely catch them with the fingernail, but really, you know, there's not much more you can ask for there. And it's got a bail, little tiny bail, very tight. You know, likes to stay in one spot, but it does stay out of the way, and I can appreciate that. Anyway, that's all I got for today. I'm going to do a video in a little bit. I just grabbed this guy today, which is a 1920s, 1930s Wenger Tahara. So that'll be my next video. So we have that to look forward to. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Petey Grizz out.